Ivanka Trump was back in the Big Apple on Thursday night and ready for a night out with her in-laws. The first daughter was spotted outside her apartment building a little after 5 p.m. looking majestic in a mauve-colored velvet dress with a mock turtleneck and pleated skirt that she previously wore back in January for a date night with husband Jared Kushner. She paired the frock with a clutch and silver heels from her eponymous fashion brand, marking the second day in a row she was proudly flaunting some of her retail goods after taking a break from wearing her looks in public. The Oasis dress was a bargain as well, and looked far more expensive than its $113 retail price. All that effort and the task of getting her 3 children up to the city was done so that she could attend a party being held at the $12 million Fifth Avenue apartment of Jared Kushner's parents Charles and Cyril. It is not clear what the event was for or who else was in attendance, with Ivanka seen entering and exiting the gathering surrounded by her Secret Service agents. Prior to her evening on the town, she could be seen juggling her 2 boys Joseph and Theodore outside her apartment while trying to get them all into a waiting SUV to take off for the night. Jared was not seen at the couple's penthouse but did head to work early in the morning on Thursday, suggesting he may have wanted to finish up in time to head up to the Big Apple at the end of the day. Trump was spotted strolling the streets of New York City earlier in the day while dressed down in an oversized fur-lined parka with a pair of jeans and black flats. She was joined by her mother-in-law Cyril Kushner, son Joseph and 5-year-old daughter Arabella, who showed off her own fashion flair in a pair of cat ears while also carrying around a case of school supplies. 3 Secret Service agents accompanied the group as well, including Ivanka's right-hand woman, who has had a whirlwind week trailing her boss from Aspen to Washington, D.C. and now up to New York. Ivanka's journey back home comes less than 24 hours after the news of her appointment to a White House job as an advisor to her father, President Donald Trump. The first family is now dealing with building backlash from both sides of the aisle after the announcement of the first daughter's post in the Trump administration. Ivanka packed up and left New York City for her family's new $5.5 million home just 1 day before her father was sworn into office. She also stepped down from her role in the Trump Organization and as the head of her eponymous fashion brand prior to her move. Ivanka also put the Park Avenue apartment she purchased in 2004 on the market for $4.1 million in December, while also offering to rent it out for $13,000 per month. She and Jared live in the penthouse of that same building, which is valued at $16 million. Ivanka's only other trip home came 2 weeks ago, when she joined Prime Minister Justin Trudeau of Canada at the opening night of the Broadway play Come From Away. In anticipation of the backlash and criticism she was bound to face when the news broke, Ivanka released a statement on Wednesday in an attempt to quell the fears of those who might be angered by the move. I have heard the concerns some have with my advising the president in my personal capacity while voluntarily complying with all ethics rules, and I will instead serve as an unpaid employee in the White House office, subject to all of the same rules as other federal employees, said Ivanka in a statement. Throughout this process I have been working closely and in good faith with the White House counsel and my personal counsel to address the unprecedented nature of my role. It would be difficult to declare the announcement of Ivanka's new position a surprise, as shocking as the decision to put her in a federal position may be to many. President Trump's oldest daughter has been the only one of his 5 children to have remained by his side ever since he won the election this past November, first as part of his transition team and then by moving to Washington, D.C. Ivanka seemed to take her time inserting herself into White House affairs in the first few weeks of her father's term, with her first appearance coming in early February when she accompanied her father to Dover Air Force Base to receive the body of a fallen SEAL Team 6 member. That same day was also her first outing as President Trump's proxy, with Ivanka stopping by the Chinese embassy for a party celebrating the Lunar New Year. The first daughter was warmly greeted by Ambassador Kui Tankai outside the event, who escorted her through the event which featured singers, dancers and art. Always the thoughtful guest, Ivanka brought the perfect girl to wow those in attendance, her Mandarin-speaking daughter Arabella, 5, who she filmed performing a traditional Chinese song the following day. She then began to make more frequent appearances at more high-profile events, including the state visits of Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and Chancellor Angela Merkel. Ivanka not only participated in a roundtable on worker productivity during the visit by the German leader, but also organized the event according to sources who claimed at the time that Chancellor Merkel had reached out to Ivanka in hopes she could serve as a buffer to her father. There is little doubt that Ivanka is able to fill the role of buffer to President Trump better than anyone else, but there are also countless problems and conflicts which are bound to arise given the first daughter's new post. The biggest problem for both Ivanka and Kushner is their complete lack of experience in politics, something that is also true of President Trump. Ivanka and Kushner were not elected to their offices by the American public, however, like the president. There is also the issue of the couple's close family and business ties to the commander-in-chief, which would make it much easier for the two to apply pressure or exert undue influence over President Trump. The Trump administration managed to get around the federal anti-nepotism rules that were put in place to prevent this exact scenario from occurring back in January when Kushner was named as a senior aide to his father-in-law. To dodge the complaints and conflicts which came with the announcement of that appointment, Kushner agreed to not take a salary and put all his holdings in a trust. Ivanka then did the same. In retrospect, it almost seems as if Kushner's appointment and the steps he had to take in order to avoid ethics complaints may have been a test run for when President Trump was ready to bring his daughter on board the administration. There could still be problems, however, with President Trump's frequent foe Elizabeth Warren shooting off a letter to Office of Government Ethics on Wednesday after news of Ivanka's appointment. The Massachusetts senator, who President Trump continues to delight in referring to as Pocahontas, said in her letter that this new hire by the administration had resulted in substantial confusion.